Good morning, Mr. Amir. I am Ambarwati. Right now, I would like to explain about the movie. And this time, the movie, the theme of movie is The Date on Heart, 2024. So the first materials I will explain about the narrative elements include cultural elements, and gender identity issue, also the cultural issue, include the cultural aspect. All right, here we go. The first, I would like to explain about the narrative elements. As you can see, this is the protagonist, that Holger, which is a Danish carpenter and Civil War veteran. So Holger is the emotional heart of the story. In this image above, he appears worn and reflections, and also embodying a man shaped by love, violence, and convictions. For the next information, that is rising action that included narrative elements. The story starts when Holger and Vivian sitting under the tree. His internal turmoil is mirrored by subtle conflict in his relationship and environment. Flashback to his experiences at the war increase in intensity, while interactions with loved ones and neighbors deepen the emotional stakes. The tension builds steadily, portraying the quiet battles of reintegrations and unspoken grief. All right. In the next slide, there is a climax. The emotional climax occurs. The protagonist, or Holger, reaches a breaking point. That moment of vulnerability and confrontations with his past. This scene lays bare his psychological wounds and symbolizes a turning point. There is either this gain further into isolations or begin the journey toward healing. It is a raw and pivotal moment that reshapes his interactions and purpose moving forward. So there is a falling actions. After the climax, Holger begins to accept help from those around him, include Vivian, because Holger is falling in love with Vivian in this scene, that he actually think that Vivian would like someone who can resolve his problem and anything else. Right. There is a next point about the resolutions. In these resolutions, Holger finds new sense of fullness. He embraces his identity not as a contradictions but as a complete and unfolding self. By reconnecting with his cultural roots and allowing space for emotional expressions, the moves forward with purpose. The ending suggests that healing is possible when supported by community, tradition, and threat. As what I said before, that Holger is getting healing with her sweetheart, with Vivian, maybe. Okay, so the next issue is about the character and characterizations. There is four character and characterizations, and I will explain one by one. The first one is the protagonist, that Holger Olsen. Her characterizations is morality, emotional appreciations, sacrifice, and masculinity. And the next one is Vivian Licodi. Is the girlfriends of Holger Olsen. Feminist autonomy, survival, courage, and dignity. And then there is Alfred Jeffries. He is the judgment, injustice, institutional corruption, and complexity. Okay, the next one of the judge is the Alfred Jeffries. He is a toxic masculinity, a maternity, and danger. All right. The next one is I would like to talk about the type of issues that I find in this movie. The first one is gender equality issues. All right. Masculinity portrayed as silent endurance and emotional, which is masculinity is fine in the character Alfred and Holger as Holger Essen. All right. And the next one is challenges toxic gender norm. This is fine. This characterizations fine in Alfred Jeffries. All right. And female character are nurturing but strong, offering an emotional stability. Okay, these characterizations that find in Vivian. Next one is identity issue. The protagonist grapples with personal identity as a veteran black man and partner. All right, but actually, Holger is a white people in America. But in this movie that describe if Holger was a black man, but not a black man in the African American, but in this movie that explain black man is just a stereotype. All right, so there is a themes of self-worth, belonging, and reclaiming emotional expressions, which is the protagonist or Holger show his and emotional expression with her character in this movie. His Holger has a strong emotional expression which is shown in this scene. Okay, there is an identity uh, shaped by trauma, by also love and culture. As what I explained before, sir, trauma that happened in Viviana life and also the whole girl lives that make them feel uncomfortable, and they try to find places that keep them and respect about their self. So when Viviana meet Holger, they feel like stronger than ever. So it's described by love and also a culture. That culture described an American cowboy, and that's the next point is talk about the cultural issues. Focus on American, sorry, focus on African American experience post-war. So, uh, so as I describe this picture, which is the background is focus on African American post-war. The condition in America is after the post-war. Okay. Under the presentations of black veterans and their stories in media is addressed. Integrational trauma and healing to family cultural traditions. So what they wear, what they use, anything else of the customs, hairstyles, and also a lifestyle that describe they were in the post-war cultural traditions or traditional. And then there is a cultural aspect. And the cultural aspect, there is a deep connections. The deep connections of a black certain culture, even that foods, even that music or that values. The values that means someone who live in a post-war in a American Southern traditions that describe they were use a vintage custom with a blonde hair and many things else. Alright, so the next point is I would like to explain about the cultural elements. Cultural elements that describe the language or the dialect, certain like English. So in a different culture and in a different traditions, there is another or uh, different dialect. When we are going to the UK, we will talk about the British English, but when we are back to the American culture, we will see the American accent like that. It's the same in this movie. They were using the American accent because their culture was African American traditions. All right, and there is a symbols, the symbols that home or the military uniform and the crutch or the nature like tree or fields or the environment that shows they were in the post-war traditions or post-war conditions. So, like what I had to show the pictures in here, sir, the trees and the fields that show southern America like Texas and the cowboy style, and there is also the military uniform because they were have home traditions. Okay, and the next one is we talk about the music that used or play in this movie. There is three types of the music. The first one is the blues, jazz, and the last is gospel. Okay, so, and the next point I would like to explain about the values. The values here that I had to explain that about the respect for elders, emotional relations, and communal healing. So in this movie, the director shows every part of the values. There's also a respect for the elders, how Holger respect to Viviana when he feels sad. He always be there for her. All right, and the next one is emotional relations. The emotional relation that shows when Viviana got angry with Holger, but uh, uh, Holger explained everything until Viviana believed what Holger said. Okay, and the next one is communal healing. The communal healing in this movie is not only about the money, but there is also emotional healing. That emotional healing with someone that Holger loves. She will talk about anything else into the narrative to Viviana, and they they do same thing. Liliana talk to the Holger and Holger talk to Liliana. So they built a communications uh, between their relationship. Okay, that I think that communal healing in this movie. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to say thank you for you, sir, Mr. Amir. And I am so sorry. I am apologize if I have much of mistakes. I hope that you are always happy and have a good day. Thank you.